Sports Rabbi covers Israeli sports from basketball to soccer and many more. For hard-hitting opinions and thoughts, the Sports Rabbi Josh Halickman gives it all.
All right, we're back here with the Sports Rabbi Josh. Of course, we are on Sports Rabbi Rants here on the YouTube channel. Welcome aboard. Of course, this is another great show we have coming to you today. Rokas, Jokubaitis, Jared Harper. Those are going to be the two guys. You're going to see a lot of them Thursday night. Maccabi Tel Aviv takes on Hapoel Jerusalem at the arena in the capital city for State Cup glory in the final of the Israel State Cup. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be awesome. There's going to be a huge crowd. It's going to be packed. It's going to be the third straight year that these two teams are going to be meeting. Will Maccabi Tel Aviv finally be able to get over that hump after losing the last two seasons to the Reds? Of course, make sure you subscribe to us. Listen to us on all the platforms that you can. And of course, check us out at the Sports Rabbi, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, sportsrabbi.com for the latest and greatest news, both in English and in Hebrew. We deliver it to you in both languages. YouTube channel, brand new. This is episode 502 or number 3 of the Sports Rabbi Rants. So make sure you subscribe to us. Click that like button. We want to get all those likes and all the subscriptions as soon as possible. We want to bring you on board because each and every day we're going to come back to you with another great story. And today, what could you say? Rokas, Jokubaitis, Jared Harper, those were the two main players, once again, and you see in that picture, that really, really stood out in their respective semifinals in the State Cup. Jared Harper was tremendous, 24 points, had a wonderful second half against Bnei Herzliya to help Hapoel Jerusalem in their tough semifinal matchup. Took place on Sunday night. Rokas Jokubaitis, he was the star of the show with 27 points. He was fantastic. He was the engine that could for Maccabi Tel Aviv as they clip Hapoel Tel Aviv in overtime 95-93 in their game that took place on Monday night. It's going to be wonderful to see these two players at the top of their games take on one another in what is going to be for a big trophy. And what's interesting here is that both of these guys did not play, obviously, in the first two cup meetings. Actually, one of the only few guys that played in all three it's going to be is Levi Randolph. He played for Hapoel Jerusalem in the first two and now Maccabi Tel Aviv in the third. So he could pick up, in theory, his third State Cup in a row, which would be something else. Levi Randolph, unbelievable stuff. He spoke last night at the post-game press conference after Maccabi Tel Aviv had defeated Hapoel Tel Aviv, and he just spoke about how, the team is still learning each other, they're still working, they're still improving. He spoke about the warm welcome he got in December when he returned back to the arena, which wasn't too warm. It was pretty cold welcome, as we've seen from a lot of the video highlights of that day. The Jerusalem fans were not happy to see him go, and they're going to let him know that once again at the State Cup final. It's going to be a packed 11,000-seat arena. You're going to have, half of the arena in red, half of the arena in yellow and blue. So you're going to have the two big fan bases once again here. Really, really, look for this wonderful event that is going to be a culmination of what has been a really great week of basketball so far, at least on the court. The off-the-court stuff, maybe we'll get to a little bit. We spoke about it a little bit yesterday with the referee issues and Demetrius Itoudis and bringing in the TV screens at 1 a.m. in the morning to a press conference. We can laugh about it now. It wasn't too funny at 1 in the morning when we were sitting around and all of a sudden he rolls in the TV screen, he hooks it up to a computer and starts showing his plays. I think nobody was interested in looking at those plays at that hour except for maybe him. But, we'll get back to that in a little bit. But you got to see, Rokas Jokubaitis was great, and he's starting to come out of his shell. We spoke about it yesterday. I wrote a nice piece about him today, so you can check that out as well, about, what Levi Randolph spoke to about him, what Oded Tatar spoke about him, and he's still finding his way. Was it his coming out party? I talked a little bit about that. Was it his coming out party? And real proof in the pudding will be Thursday night. That's going to be his coming out party. Is this Rokas Jokubaitis the player that is going to develop into a top-level point guard that can do it all? Is this the Rokas Jokubaitis that didn't really start for Barcelona, didn't, really play a major role in Žalgiris. Was a role player primarily over the last 4 seasons before he got to Maccabi Tel Aviv, and all of a sudden he's thrust into this lead role, which theoretically may have not even been a lead role had Jordan Lloyd still been here with Maccabi Tel Aviv. Jordan Lloyd was, brought in as the big star, the big hope, and of course we know that he left due to the conflict and the war that was taking place, and we understand why, and that's a good man, Jordan Lloyd. It was a tough decision for him, so we have to respect that. But his departure kind of left maybe Rokas a little bit, not knowing what his role was. Maybe he was told it was going to be, we're going to ease you into this kind of starting role, and we're going to ease you into becoming this, top-level point guard, and it's going to take time, and you'll have that time to adjust because it is a different type of position you're going to play, and not position as position on the court, but a position in theory, right? And all of a sudden, Jordan Lloyd leaves, and then Rokas is kind of by himself, and he has to kind of figure out how is he going to take the bull by the horns. And if the game against Hapoel Tel Aviv this week was any indication, if he can do this again in the State Cup final, he will put his name down in the annals of Maccabi Tel Aviv history. I mean, it was amazing to see him after the game so excited, just letting loose. And, I asked Jokubaitis about that in the press conference. He was just letting it loose. He was like, finally, there was like, this monkey was lifted off of his shoulders. He had been so frustrated and didn't want to lose. And Jokubaitis talking about how, when you play for a team like Barcelona, you're not used to losing. You're used to winning, and that's true. You're always competing for every title. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter if it's domestic. Doesn't matter if it's in Europe. You're always competing for every title, and that's something that's hard to get used to when you can't compete. And Maccabi Tel Aviv obviously is not going to be competing very much longer in the EuroLeague. They're going to play out the string. There's still another, half dozen games or so, or maybe 8 games that are left in the season. But this is a chance to walk away with the title. And Rokas is playing injured. He has an ankle issue right now. Didn't play in Friday night's game last week against Baskonia. They kept him out, and this is why. And he was able to put up those numbers. On the other side of the court, Jared Harper, who went from the EuroLeague to the Euro Cup. He played for Valencia last year, and he was good. He was solid. Got to see him, play in person a couple times, and it was great to see him and see how he's developed as a player. He's really been the lead guard for Hapoel Jerusalem. Was that the plan coming into the season? Speedy Smith was here. Speedy Smith, 2-time MVP of the Israel State Cup. Back-to-back years. He was the MVP, the most valuable player. Speedy Smith was the man. And was he going to be the man this season? Was that the plan and Jared Harper was supposed to be in the background? Or was Jared Harper brought in because they felt that he was going to be able to usurp that position, that he was going to be above that position, that he was going to be able to take over that lead guard position? It was time to move on from Speedy Smith. Not sure if that was the plan or not, but we do know that Hapoel Jerusalem moved on from Speedy Smith, and he's now playing at Turk Telecom. But Jared Harper has been just unbelievable. You see him with the ball, you see him driving to the basket, understanding what he has to do, adjusting, and he did that against Benny Herzliya when he was physically, abused in the first half. He was really pushed around and smashed around, and, Jonathan alone spoke about that, and he said if he was trying to stop him, he would have done the same thing. He probably would have done the same thing. But ultimately, a player like Jared Harper, he was able to adjust. He made the changes in his game in the second half, and he ended up scoring a load of points, and he was rightfully the MVP once again. Now, Yovel Zusman was great in that game, don't get me wrong, but Jared Harper was the man, and he was the man, as he has been all season long. How many times has he won the Euro Cup MVP weekly award this year? I mean, I don't know. I think I lost count already. But he's been absolutely unbelievable, and he's so level-headed, such a good guy, so... he comes into a press conference, he's always there. He's like in neutral. He's like permanently in neutral. He's never in first gear and he's never in fifth gear, and he's always talking, like, respectfully, answers the questions, understands his role, and is just really a mensch of a person. And you got to like a player like that. You got to like a guy that just is this quiet, killer. I mean, that guy just is like silent but deadly. He absolutely knows how to run the team perfectly, and he has become the MVP. So, if you were going to look at who's going to be the MVP of this final, and right now you have Rokas Jokubaitis, who was the MVP of his game, Jared Harper, the MVP of his game. You got these two guys, both guards. They're going to go at each other. I am so much looking forward to this final. I think it's going to be a fantastic celebration of basketball. And I think we're going to see some great stuff from both teams. And I think we're going to see both of these players once again play at the top of their game. Who's going to win? That I can't tell you. I really don't know who's going to win. It's going to be so close. It's going to be tight. It will not surprise me again if this game, is 1, 2, 3 points, goes to overtime, whatever it may be. And that would be really fitting for a week of basketball that has just been wonderful and fantastic. It's just been a great week and really enjoyable, and looking forward to heading over to the press conference, pregame press conference on Wednesday night. And of course, next time you'll be listening to me in the Sports Rabbi Rants show, I'll have a wrap-up of that press conference. We'll talk about what went on there, who spoke, what the principals had to say, meaning, I don't know if it's going to be the captains or they're going to pick another player. The coaches will definitely speak, and both Oded Kachash and Yonatan Alon are friends, so it should be an interesting battle. They battled last year, and Yonatan Alon got the upper hand. We'll see who will get the upper hand this Thursday night at 9 o'clock at the Jerusalem Arena. And of course, if you like this show, I know that you do, make sure you subscribe, press that subscribe button, press that like button. Check us out at the Sports Rabbi, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, sportsrabbi.com for the latest and greatest news, both in English and Hebrew. We deliver to you in both languages. But for now, we want to wish you a great day from the holy city of Jerusalem.